Yes, gun storage check week, very important. We've been talking about gun safety awareness, gun violence awareness for a while now. And join us here on the Splash Live from the West Bloomfield Police Department. We have Administrative Sergeant Dave Sage. Join us to talk a little bit more about gun storage check week. Thank you again for joining us.
No problem. Good morning, guys.
Absolutely. So this is something that's been going on. It's a week-long campaign that promotes responsible firearm storage among gun owners to prevent accidents, suicides, and thefts. Can you just once again just talk about how important it is to not only make sure your gun is stored safety, but make sure it's properly locked also?
Sure. Well, like you said, Gun Storage Check Week, nationwide campaign. It's actually June 1st through 7th this year, so we're kind of at the end of it. But essentially, it's got a couple components to that. The Safe Storage Gun Law was signed last year, 2023. It went into effect February this year. And basically, oversimplification of that is you as a firearm owner can now be held criminally or civilly responsible if a firearm you own falls into the hands of someone that should not have it, whether that be a minor, something along those lines. It could be as easy as a misdemeanor if for example, a minor, a child should get a hold of a pistol, take it to school to show some friends. You could be criminally responsible for a misdemeanor, all the way up to a felony should a firearm that was not stored properly is used to kill or injure another. And aside from just being responsible gun ownership, importance, it is obviously a law now as well. Examples of a secure firearm would be the use of a cable or trigger lock, a lock box at home, or a gun safe. What is not considered safe and secure, even in your home, would be, say, the top of a refrigerator, your nightstand, or even, hey, I thought it was secure because I left it in the the glove box of my vehicle. Basically, the campaign is trying to eliminate the possibility of a firearm that was purchased responsibly falling into the hands of someone that should not have it, is not trained, something along those lines.
Completely understand, Sergeant. Thank you for providing that insight too. I want to say this from the perspective of a firearm owner myself, right? How can we find that perfect balance between making sure our firearm is locked up and safe so that no one who shouldn't access it gets to it, and making sure it is accessible in case of those emergency situations, God forbid, that we do need to access it?
Sure. Well, in regards to that, I would start with what type of firearm you have and what you need to use it for. So in reference to your question, if you have multiple firearms and ones that you're not necessarily using for, say, home defense and protection, you would want more of a long-term storage for that. Your trigger lock, your gun lock, in a gun safe, those sort of things. If you have the protection, the firearm that you are looking for your home protection, they make some still secure, but more easily accessible methods of containing that. And those would be your lock boxes. Without getting too much into, all the different types, you can go to the gun store. They have ones that have finger combinations where you would just, hold your finger and you do that. They have ones that work off the ID bracelets, the same technology you may use at work to get into a certain door for an office. You can get bracelets that open up special boxes. So it really comes down to what your personal need is. And I guess kind of the sky's the limit, really, what your budget is. You can go very low tech and just get a lock box with a key on it. If that is what you can, obtain in order to secure that. But I would always recommend, if you have multiple firearms, to take those ones that you maybe don't use as much and really put those in more of a safe storage, long-term cable lock, trigger lock inside a safe. If you're going to take it to the range, obviously you have plenty of time to go get that, remove those protections and get it to the range or whatever.
Sergeant, great perspective. I'm so glad you touched on it all. Yes, it's not like you're going to be using every single firearm for every on a frequent basis. So yes, depending on the use, depending on, however you plan on going to the range or whatever, lock them up accordingly. I love that perspective right here. Join us right here on the Splash Live from the West Bloomfield Police Department Administrative Sergeant Dave Sage, talking about National Gun Storage Check Week, making sure your firearm is safely secured within your home. Now let's talk about why this is so important, specifically right here in the West Bloomfield community. Sergeants, let's talk about, has there been any warning or any news that we should kind of be aware of, in the fact of making sure that our guns are properly stored, specifically here in West Bloomfield, or just get into the details of why this is important here?
Well, with the media today, I'm sure everybody is aware of, some of the recent events, the unfortunate school shootings. We've had some very close, not here in West Bloomfield, thank goodness, but, ones where the firearm was obtained from something that a parent had legally, right? So I don't have the statistics for the nationwide, where it falls on things that have happened, unfortunately, for a firearm that was obtained by someone that shouldn't have had to have it because it wasn't stored correctly. But, one case is too many, right? As far as that goes, here at the West Bloomfield Police Department, we are offering this week, and actually even beyond this week, we will give township residents free cable locks here at the front desk. Just come in 24/7. The front desk staff know where they're at. We have plenty to give out. If you have multiple firearms, we can do that. That cable lock is, like I had mentioned before, is more of something that is a long-term storage option. But that is something we do free of charge. And if anybody else is, watching outside of West Bloomfield, most local municipalities offer a service like that as well.
Absolutely. And we appreciate those resources being available right here in our community, just in case people may have a firearm but don't have access to that right there. So thank you again for joining us on the Splash, Sergeant. Any additional information, resources that you want to let the community know about before we let you go?
So yeah, the cable locks, again, free here. Other municipalities do as well. It's always good as a firearm owner to continue the training. You don't ever want to just go down to your local gun store and buy something and take it home and think that you're an expert because you've watched a couple of action movies.
Correct.
There's all types of different places you can go for training. Local firearms store, some of the local clubs, things like that. But we do recommend basic firearm safety skills training for anyone that owns a firearm. And then again, we offer the cable locks to anybody that would want those.
There it is. Thank you again from the West Bloomfield Township Police Department Administrative Sergeant Dave Sage, joining us talking about National Gun Storage Safety Check Week. Thank you again for your time, sir. We appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me on.